And welcome to this Edmodo webinar. In the chat box I have posted the link to the webinar back channel. On the back channel that you see on my screen, you will see the school codes for your school. If you're at Summit View Middle, please note that that code has changed. Apparently when Edmodo did its most recent update, the Summit View code got lost, so I had to reset it. So that is a new code for Summit View Middle. Now for Edmodo, if you're not already in the training group code is there as well. And I'll leave that up a minute. If you have this, you only need those codes if you have not created an Edmodo account before. Now if you're going to create an Edmodo account, please use the district subdomain of kcsd.edmodo.com, and I'll put that here on the Titan pad. I don't know why that doesn't like to stay there. So you can use that link, copy and paste it into your browser. That will put you onto the district subdomain where we can track what goes on. A little bit of a safety feature there. So let's go ahead and jump into Edmodo. This is Edmodo, and hoping that you all have been in Edmodo before. A couple of new features in Edmodo since the Getting Started webinar is that your groups will now automatically lock after 2 weeks. So be aware of that. You'll have to unlock the group in order to allow more students in, and when you do that, that will change your group code. So today's training will focus on the library. The library is a set of books up here. And if you click on the library, you'll see everything that's currently in my library. So these are all files and web links that I have. Over here on the left, if you have a Google Docs account, you can load directly from your Google Docs account. So these are all documents in Google Docs, and I can easily bring those into Edmodo. I can even look at my Google folders. I can select all, I can select none. I can even look at them as a list. So you've got these options up here. You can look for documents that have been attached to posts. So if people that you're following have attached documents to their posts, you can go find them that way. And if there's something you want, for example, if I want John Mine's bowling game, all I have to do is click on it, and then I can, down here in folder, I can move it to one of my folders. So I'm going to put it in my favorites folder. And you can put it in multiple folders. But for now, I'm just going to put it in favorites and hit apply. And now that document is in my library. Now you'll see that I've got folders already created. It's a great way to organize your library. To create a folder, you just hit New, and you give it a name. So we'll call this, see, I've already got SITS and Compass. We'll call this Smartboard, just because I don't have a Smartboard one. And then you can choose which groups you want to share that folder with. So if I share it with my Smart Notebook group, I can share it there, and then I'll just hit Create. And now anything that goes into this Smartboard folder, you'll see it appear over here on the left. Anything that goes in here will automatically be visible to anybody in the Smart group, the Smartboard group that I have. So that's how you can manipulate your library. Now how that works is if we go back to the group, so let's go back home, and where those show up, so I shared that with my Smart Notebook group. If I go to the Smart Notebook group, you'll notice up here across the top it says Posts, Folders, Members, Small Groups. I can look at the folders, and here's that folder. And right now there's nothing in there. However, if I go to the Edmodo training group, and then I look at the folders there, you'll see that you have 2 folders shared, and you should be able, if you're in the Edmodo training group, you should be able to access those folders. If you click on the folder, you'll see everything that's in there. And we can go back. You can look at Edmodo training. Here's all the folders, the files that are in that folder. Now, other things you can do with your folder, your library, in order to attach documents, you just click up in the top left corner. It says Add to Library, and then you can attach files, or you can attach links. So if you want to put a link, let's say there's a web page that you use quite frequently. So I'll put the district web page here. And if you give it a second, it'll pull the title of the web page for you. You don't have to type it in. So I've got that link, and I'll hit Add. And by the way, if that title comes up, you know you've got the link right. So now that link is there, and I can click on that link, and I can come down to Folder, and I can choose which folder that's going to go in. So I'll put that in Favorites, and just for the fun of it, we'll put it in Smartboard, and then hit Apply. Everybody that's in those 2 groups can now see that folder, that link. So let's go back to Add to Library, and this time we'll attach a file. So we'll click on Files, and then we'll click on Upload, and you'll notice you have a 100 megabyte maximum. That's generally a pretty good size. What you can't do is upload video files. So those will be, well, depending on the size, it could be pretty big. What I'm going to upload here is the GoToWebinar Attendee Quick Reference Guide. So I'll add that. So now all I have to do is hit Add, and it will upload that file. And then you'll see it show up. And again, we can click on it, and we can assign it to folders. So I'm going to put that in SITS, and we'll put it in Edmodo Training. And we'll put it in Smartboard. Since those are the groups that I do a lot of training with, I'll even put it in my favorites, and we'll hit Apply. Now if I go to my favorites, you'll see the links that I've loaded. And you'll see here's that one that I took from somebody else because they posted it. You'll also see, if I go to Smartboard, we now have a couple of items in the library. And if we go to the Edmodo Training, you'll see we've now got several items in there. So that's how we add to our library. Now, one more way to add to your library is through posts. As you're typing your post, so you could type out your post, you can attach your file, we'll come down, we'll add the webinar schedule. You can also add a link. So this time we'll do and that should be the back channel for this session. This one I do have to type the name in. Sometimes it won't pick them up. And then we'll attach it. So now you see we've got our file, we've got our link. Now you can also go in and go directly to your library and attach files from there into your post. So that's how you work with your library. Then we'll send it. It's going to come to the Edmodo training group. And now because I have put all of these in my post, if I go back to my library, and we go to Edmodo training, we might need to refresh. Try it again. It should be there. Wonder if that's a glitch in their most recent update. That should have been there. Let's look at attach to post. I bet it went there. Yep, here they are right here. Webinar schedule and Edmodo library. So they never made it into the folders. So if I hold down Control, I can multi-select and then put them into the Edmodo training folder and hit apply. So now they're in that folder. So what they've done is they've taken out the automatic drop into your library. Now you'll notice the hint says drag and drop items to reorder them. So if you would rather have the 7 brilliant ways to use Edmodo, you can drag that up to the top, and you can reorder these just by drag and drop. So that is how we use the library. We'll check the chat boxes or the question boxes. Are there any questions? All right, I'm not seeing any questions. So if you have questions in the future about Edmodo, don't hesitate to call me, email me. Let me know. I'm always happy to help. If there are no questions, I'll thank you for your time, and we'll see you at the next webinar. And if you're signed up for that, the webinar tomorrow is on Wikispaces and getting started with Wikispaces. So we'll see you next time.